What's up, my loves and fellow creatives? As promised, I'm back. We're going to do another beautiful remembrance slash just celebratory. It could be birthday, it could be vacation. I want you all to really see the versatility in these templates and think outside the box. So what we're doing for this one is this is more of a double exposure type of look, which is a highly popular Photoshop effect. So I'm hoping that I made this simple enough to where you can drop in any photo, get that double exposure look, and then I'll start introducing a lot more of those types of templates to the arsenal. All right, what's up, Erica? Chrissy Poo, thank you, love. I appreciate it. So we're going to make this template change out. It should take no more than 10 minutes to pretty much do this change out, although I'm going to slow it down and talk you through the process. But you should be able to take this template, get your customer's image, go ahead and have it removed or remove BG, or take your time and cut out the image yourself, and then we'll be able to transition the template into what your client needs. Okay, so right now I'm going to do Control-0 just to zoom in, and let me make sure I'm on my Photoshop screen. All right, so I did Control-0 just to zoom in there. And then the first thing that I like to do is I like to find the photo, because the photo is really the it's the inspiration for the entire design. So I'm going to right click on the photo here, and I have two versions of it. Now I have a version of it on top of the other just to kind of let some of that definition in the face stand out a little more. But either way, this is a smart object. I'm going to double click the smart object. Okay, so once I double click it, it opens up in its own tab. And when I save these changes, it's going to update to the bigger art file. Now what I'm going to do is just change out the photo here. But I'm going to show you how I would bring this in. So let's say I didn't have another photo here. I'm going to show you the exact process. So here is my folder here. Let's see, where am I? Well, I guess it changed. I can't see here. I guess it makes it so large. I think this, I'm trying to enlarge my Photoshop on this screen for you all, and now it's making it more difficult for me. Hold on. I'm going to find it though. I'm not going to give up. Should be somewhere towards the top. Y'all been keeping me busy, so I have a lot of files. Let's see here. Keep going. I think I saw it. Yep, and my computer's breathing hard. So literally, I am dragging it from my folder, because if I bring the folder down, it's going to cause problems. But you see the preview of the image. I'm dragging it from the folder. When I hover it over the artboard, it turns into a plus sign. That means it's going to add it to my art. And if I let go of it, it's going to drop it in there. I can resize it now by pulling on these corners. And I'm just trying to make sure that it's a comparable size so that the birds still look like they're connected with the image there, okay? So I'm going to hit enter. Then I'll turn off the original photo. And all I have to do is literally exit out of this, tell it yes, I want to save it, and this will update in my image here. Now, what I want to show you with the double exposure is that depending on what image you're using to overlay, you may have to adjust either the image to move it around, or adjust where your image is allowed to come through. So I've strategically kind of placed these trees, because the trees are darker, it shows more of the face to come through, over where the eyes are, because I think the eyes are really important to show through. But I can Control T and change the size of this as well, and I can move it around. And I want to make sure that I get those beautiful eyes in there. Okay, and then the other thing is I want to turn on my guides to make sure that nothing is going too crazy outside of my my print safe area here. And then I want you to notice that you have two layers for the photo. And They're supposed to be linked. Are they? Okay, they are linked. Okay, so one layer is just a little bit of the extra face. It's right here. And as you can see, it's masked out with the black. And then it only allows just the parts of the face to show through. But if I want, so this was for Aaliyah's image, right? So if I want to redo this for, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to duplicate this layer. So I can keep my layer mask for Aaliyah, but now I'm going to create a different layer mask for our model here. And this is Miss Cynthia in the group supplied this image for us. So we're going to say thank you, and she gets this template for free for providing this beautiful image. So we're going to delete this layer mask, and we're going to make a new layer mask here. Okay, so right now the opacity is only at 49%. We can bring the opacity up and turn back on our bottom image, and it doesn't look so much like a double exposure because we have a little too much opacity. So what I'm going to do is bring down our opacity for the top layer, not the bottom layer. The bottom layer is perfect just the way it is. The top layer is the one that we're going to play with. Now, quite naturally, we can add a layer mask here with this button down here. It looks like a rectangle with a circle in the middle. We're going to add a layer mask. Now, what I'm going to do with the paintbrush, I know that white reveals and black conceals. And I have a 900 pixel size soft brush selected right now. And I'm just going to softly brush over parts of the image. And I think I got a little bit of acting up right there. Yeah, it just went ham on me. Let me undo just a little bit. I have a new little touchscreen thing, and I don't think it's optimized quite yet for my setup. Okay, there we go. So I'm just using the black here, if you see what I'm doing, to kind of clear out some of this image, just to kind of take it down a bit. But I definitely want to keep the details there in her face. And then I'm going to take the entire opacity for this layer and bring it down to where I want the image to look like it's basically faded, it melted into the background, almost like how you might imagine if someone was transparent, like if we could disappear, but you could still see a little bit of the outline. That's kind of the look that I'm going for. And you just see how subtle it is, that this difference just makes a very subtle difference, but it does let it stand out a little bit more. All right, so that's it. That's really it. Now you can make it as transparent as you want, but of course you want to be able to acknowledge the image here. So let's say I'm gonna change the text now. So instead of Aaliyah, I'm gonna duplicate this layer because I'm gonna keep the original one because we're gonna change colors and all on this one. So I'm gonna turn off the Aaliyah. I'm gonna double click here and let's put Cynthia. Cynthia. Y'all know normally I don't type names, I copy and paste them. And automatically it just looks like this beautiful, elegant, like paradise of where you want to be. It does not necessarily have to be a Remembrance shirt. I do want you all to get full use of these templates. Okay, so that's that. And then we also have this cool kind of color overlay over it. I don't know if you noticed that, but this is, if I turn that completely off and turn this blend mode to normal, right now the blend mode is on color. So I have it set at opacity of 42. I'm going to crank it all the way up. So this is a gradient layer that I've applied on top of the image layer. So if I go back to color, you'll see that is the intense color, and it looks pretty cool. But if you want it to look a little more natural, then you can come up here to the opacity, bring it down, and it still will interact with those previous colors. So now the water looks a little more cerulean blue. The sky looks like it has a little more pinks and purples in them, but it's just a very subtle difference. Very subtle difference. But you can also change this gradient. So let's say I want to change this gradient. I'm going to duplicate this layer and show you what an entirely different gradient looks like. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to turn my opacity all the way up just to show you what these differences in gradients look like. Now I want you to keep in mind, right now I have on the angle gradient. So if I don't start with the same color that I finish with, then it creates a stark difference in the two colors here. So once I pick a color, we just did rainbow on the last one. Let me do a little bit of a different subtle combination. And this one could be a really masculine combination too, because it'll have the reds, the yellowish oranges, and the blues. But basically, I'm going to have to start with one of the same colors I finished with. So I'm going to take this blue. I'm going to click it one time. That's going to copy that color stop. And then I click somewhere else where there is no color stop, and it pasted it. And all of a sudden, you don't see that harsh line there. And let's say you want a little more orange versus the yellow. You can move these around as you wish. I'm going to go ahead and create a new swatch out of that. There we go. And I'm going to change my angles. So maybe my blue is more towards the bottom. And then I want this yellow and red up here. And maybe I want a little less yellow, a little more red. I want my yellow to start over here and my red to come over here. And I'm just playing with this gradient. I don't know what it's going to do. And in this case, I also have like some of my greenery here that's going to be overshadowed by this gradient fill, but it's okay. All right, so now I can take my opacity. I can bring it down a little bit. And I can subtly affect those colors. You see how I still see my yellows and my oranges, and it's just subtly affecting. And I still see the green come in through the trees and the leaves here. Now my background itself, that's another thing that has an opacity difference. So here my fill, I didn't change the opacity, I changed the fill. So the fill here, I'm down on 48, but I can crank that up if I want to see more of the actual image. All the way so that maybe the foreground image looks a little more transparent and the background stands out. Okay, I just tend to fade out the background to make the foreground pop out a little bit more. But you do have an option to make it more prominent or less prominent. I think y'all told y'all I had it somewhere around like 40 something. 49 is what it's at right now. So that's one colorway versus another colorway. And you can literally play with this until you get exactly the view and the color combinations that you want to see. And the other thing is, if I want this color combination to also take effect on this more on the image that we have above, because keep in mind that this image is also cropped into the photo here, and that's why it's giving that double exposure look. So if I want that same kind of orange and blue, those hues to take effect on my top image, I'm going to drag that right above the face there, and see how now it changed. It did change the colors of her face a little bit. And let's say I want the skin tone. I don't want the skin tone to turn orange like it just did. So I'm going to take, there's a layer mask already on that blue and orange gradient layer, and I'm going to paint on that layer mask to let her natural skin color show through right there. So that it's not using my blues and yellows and oranges to paint in her face right there. But it is using it to color in her head wrap. So then that just makes it look a little more matchy. Okay. So I'll do the same thing with the teal, purple, and pink. I'm going to pull it right underneath the orange and blue, and I'll show you what that looks like. So now there's a teal, purple, and pink. Teal, purple, and pink on the background, and you have some really subtle ways to play with this and give it this really dreamy effect. And same thing with the purple and the teal, purple, teal, and pink. I'm going to brush off of her face layer so that we make sure that we keep that natural skin tone. And then that, again, the head wrap is what changes colors there. Very subtle, but it makes a bigger impact when you're looking at the overall design. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is, since I've decided to go with, let's say I'm going to change it to the blues and oranges instead. All right, so let's say that's our overall look here. And one thing I want to do, I want to fade off the bottom of Cynthia's photo. I didn't do it before because it was more of just a quick change out, but I really want to do this. So I'm going to add a layer mask to the image. I'm going to grab my paintbrush, make sure black is selected, and I'm just going to paint across the bottom here. Get rid of those hard lines. And those pixels are still there, so if I took away too much and I feel like I needed to bring something back, then I would just come back with white, because white's going to reveal, and I would reveal what I wanted to see again. So you can do this this dancing game back and forth of your blacks and your whites to get the desired effect that you want. And I still see a little bit of a hard line right here, so I'm going to go back. Y'all know I don't do the hard lines. And it would be better if I, instead of seeing the checkerboard, if I actually had a, if I placed a white background behind it, but I figured it's going to come through as it comes through, and it looks good. All right, so another thing, one more thing that I want to show you about the birds. So the birds have this, this natural kind of coloring to them. So you see a little bit of the details, but you can also make them silhouetted. So in order to do that, double click on your smart object, and you can go to the birds here, and right now they have a color overlay on them. Double click that color overlay, and I can make it extremely opaque, but I can also make it one of the colors. I'm not sure what's going on with this color picker right now. I think it's tripping because I have too many things running right now, but 735354. 735354. I just caught that number. So I can make it, let's say I pick the color from her head wrap. I'm going to show you what that looks like silhouetted now. Let's say yes. Okay, so now it looks more like a silhouette of the birds rather than, you know, the actual details that you saw in them before. So you definitely have that option too. And keep in mind, it's going to change those colors based on what you have selected for your color overlay and the image below it. So it picks up the image below it, and it also takes into account the gradient that you're playing with. All right, so that would be option number 2. Now, the only thing that I could tell you to do, like let's say you didn't like the waterfall coming into the face here, you would actually have to move your image around, and you don't have a lot of playroom with this image, just because I had to basically, y'all don't know this, but I had to copy and paste pixels to make the sleeves. That's why it looks like it repeats a little bit towards the outside. So you don't have a lot of wiggle room to move this around, but I will show you moving it around. And see, when I move it around, it affects what part of her face shows through. Okay, but I think it looks good just like that. And I think we're ready to change the font color. So we changed the text already. If we want to change the text color, all we do is click on the FX here. And now that I've kind of considered what my gradient color is going to be, I'm going to go to find everywhere that you basically see some purple, because right now it's a few different places where you will see color. So for stroke, I see a little bit of a light purple. So, oh, I forgot, it's not picking up my colors. I don't know why it's not doing that. I can manually select colors too, but I'd rather pick a color. So normally what Photoshop does, when you pick a color and you drop it, it will change it to that color. But this is not happening for me right now. So E6808D. E6808D. Okay, so if you don't want to give it to me, I will take it. So I have that hex code now. I'm going to go to my inner glow. That looks like that's all white. Go to the cover overlay, that's white. The outer glow, I see a little purple here. So I want to change that. And this is a little bit darker, more vibrant. So I'm going to choose a darker, more vibrant color here. And I still want it to look like it's glowing. So I'm kind of arbitrarily changing it up as I see fit. And of course the drop shadow. So the drop shadow has a little purple. I'm going to paste my hex code in there and let that drop shadow kind of do its thing. There we go. So now we have a whole new design. And let me check on y'all to see if y'all have any questions along the way. Yes, Google Drive Google Drive is definitely a lifesaver. I see you, Tanya, talking about eating Cheerios Friday night. Yes, that's what we're doing. A little snacking and learning. Let's see. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate it. So, Ken, no, you don't have to do a different purchase if you're doing physical and digital items. However, let's say if you had a coupon and you're using a coupon, you can't use that coupon when you have physical items in the cart. It only works for digital items. But it does help us when you do separate purchases, because then when we're packing orders, we don't see a bunch of digital products plus whatever we need to ship. But you don't have to separate them. It does help us when you do that though. All right, Varel. Thank you, love. I appreciate it. So I'm gonna be uploading this one, and we just did the Nipsey kind of marble-esque look one. We did that one earlier tonight. So I will be posting those too. I said I was gonna get at least a couple of those new templates uploaded on the site in time for the sale. So I want to make sure that that the folks who pretty much bought up all the other templates have something new to purchase this time around. All right. So, do y'all have any questions so far with this template change out? Because I would also like to let you all know what we have going on. I had a few questions about the Academy. So I want to show y'all that the Academy is different. It's a totally different brain than the Innate Lab website, although it says academy.innatelab.com. So on Innate Lab, that's where you're going to purchase your templates. That's where you purchase your, you get your 10-minute templates here. This is where you order your prints, and we do sell the 4X and 5X size prints now. So if you want to press your own shirts, the 4X, 5Xs are more costly. It's a 40 by 54 inch sheet, but you're able to lay it out however you want, submit your print ready artwork. And if you don't have print ready artwork, then you can pay us to do the art prep for you, and we can kind of carry that out for you. I want y'all to see that I uploaded this free CMYK purge file because I want to make sure that you're printing every single day if you can. At least print one of these out a day. It's better than letting your printer just sit up than having a big job come in and then you realize, oh, I have a print head clog and I have about 30 shirts to get out. So I want y'all to download that too. It's a free file. Same thing here, this all over blank template for the 4X and 5X. Download that one, it's free. I just want you all to know that the layout for 4X and 5X is a little bit different than the layout for the standard small to 3X. So you may have to adjust your images so that it fits properly within the proportions of a 4X and 5X. Oh, that's Quanette. Yeah. Girl, yeah, that's definitely you. So I know you're waiting on the new ones. I got you, babe. I told you I was going to look out for you. I got you. So this is the Innate Lab site. I also want to show you all. We'll be adding to the section for the blanks. We're adding socks and license plates and some other items, but I want you all to keep in mind we still have the folded masks. They are as low as 75 cents a piece, especially if you all are doing packages for school. If you can sell these as a 5-pack so that the kids have a Monday through Friday pack, I think that would be really beneficial. Let's see what else here. Of course, the ink. So you all know that the True Colors ink is the official brand for Innate Lab, and it's really making a huge difference in the blurples or not having the blue purples, having true black and really good reds and very vibrant colors without an ICC profile. So if you haven't checked that out yet, y'all check that out. Anything else y'all been asking me about? You all have been asking me about one-on-one sessions. So if you go to Design and Print Services, you'll see that I do have an option for one-on-one Photoshop sessions. Right now it's $90 an hour, but as my time becomes a lot less available, I may or may not be able to do one-on-ones. But as of right now, I'm still holding them open, and most of the time we'll do them live. Okay, so that's it. This is where you go to purchase your prints. I did want to let you know, if you get more than 10 of the all over prints of the same exact image, they are now only $11 a sheet. So, and it's flat rate shipping at $9.99. So if you have an order that you're thinking of doing all over and you want to go ahead and purchase 10 of those sheets, let's say they're only getting 8 shirts done. Go ahead and purchase 10 so you have a couple of practice with, and you're only spending $11 per all over print rather than doing that that tiling and that pasting up of those 6 to 8 sheets. It's not as fun as it looks. Okay, and I did do a video showing you how to do that with the 8 tiles. So I did want to let you all know that we're doing those, the 13 by 19s, and then I'm going to announce the new jumbo size. So the jumbo size is an 18 by 26, and it looks humongous on a shirt, but it's not an all over shirt. So you get it snapped out in 2 presses. Okay. Oh, Rosina, very good question. And I'm glad you asked that question. So we're going to take the same design before we close out of this tutorial. Take that same design. We'll make it a 13 by 19 before we close out. And I always need y'all to remind me of that because I'll get to talking and then, then I'll be like, oops, after I close out. Okay, so one more thing before I show you how to take it down to a 13 by 19. I want to show you that the Academy is a different website from the Innate Lab website. So the Academy is basically, it's a school. It's a school for your learning anything that I have to teach. As right now, we're focusing primarily on learning Photoshop. We'll be doing some more workshops in the future where we're actually going to be learning how to press the all overs. So that's going to be more of a sublimation based class versus and it'll be a hands-on class. I'll mail you those big old prints, and you'll make sure you have the materials, and we're going to call it a sub and sip party. So you have your little whatever you need to sip on, water or anything stronger, and we're going to take our time and watch each other's videos and see how our different setups are and what we need in order to execute an all-over press job with whatever setup that you have. So as long as you have the board, the print, and the shirt, we're going to make it work. Okay. All right. So just showing you all, I don't know why it's so zoomed in. Goodness. The Innate Academy site. So there is a $30 a month subscription. And I really, because I've been getting a lot of questions on this, so I really want to clarify and give you the full out benefits of what your first month is really going to give you. Your first month, you're going to roll into the academy with 4 courses already unlocked. That's not only 4 courses, that's also 4 templates, okay? So I'll show you those 4 templates that you'll get. The 101 course, you'll get the paint brushes, you'll get the font, everything that you need in order to create a design like this first one. The 102 course, that one alone is worth it because it comes with the cartoon characters, the ones that everybody wanted, so it comes with that. And the whole paint splash, and I do an advanced technique in there where I show you how to make the images pop out of the frames, so you'll have that on there. And then the airbrush is a really, really popular one right now, so you have that template as well as the video tutorial to go with it. And finally, you'll have this neon style template, and that one was a big hit too. So just out the gate, your very first moment that you join the academy, you will unlock those 4 courses. And then every 7 days, you will unlock a new course. So if for the first month, you're paying $30 for the first month, if you get all 4 of these courses, it comes with all 4 of those templates. And by the end of the month, you'll have 4 more templates because you would have collected one every 7 days. And that is your $30 a month membership. So every month after that, you'll still receive a course every single week. All right, so that was my show of love to you all for supporting me all this time and trying to give you all something that that lets you stay in the game, get in the game, because a lot of you have been watching and you haven't really had the courage to put your foot on it just yet. So I'm giving you permission to hit the gas. Okay, this is your your chance to explore 4 different templates, 8 templates by the end of the month, and you're getting the full-on live. We did a live video, so you get to see everybody's mistakes, everybody's questions. It's a 3-hour-long session for each of those classes, and you get those for free with this membership. No, you're a flamboyant creator. You don't need to have the dual screens for the $30 course because you can do it at your own pace. You can watch it on like your iPad and then perform it on your computer because you don't need Zoom. The only time that you need dual screens is if you want to do a live class, okay? The live class requires you to have 2 screens to 1 computer so that I can have Zoom on both of those screens without taking up an additional Zoom seat. So that's a great question. But yes, if you want to do the live, if you think that you may do 1 live course, at least 1 live course every month, then you may want to do the $60 plan because the $60 plan will allow you to attend 1 live class every month for free. So yes, you get all of the perks of the $30 plan, but the live classes are at least $60. So depending on what we're doing. So for 1 live class a month, you get for free. And that doesn't mean like when you start in a month, it's every 30 days. You'll unlock a new coupon code to do a free course. Oh yes, absolutely, Stephanie. You can go back and watch as many times as you need. You can pause it, take a break, go get popcorn, start it the next night. It's pretty much set up like you would take a university class. We did it all in 1 session, but you have the ability to go at your own pace. So even those people that did the live classes still get to go back and watch the pre-recorded video. Now, yes, if you're going to change your plan, let me know, because what I do for you, since you already started a plan and you started a $30 plan, then let me know, and for one time I will upgrade you and manually put you at the level that you ended up with in the $30 mode. So in the $30 mode, you should be on like maybe you've already unlocked 106 and 107. If you've already unlocked those, I can tell. So when you come in on the $60 level, then I can go ahead and push you up to 106 or 107 wherever you were previously. So you don't have to wait another couple of weeks for those to unlock. And I do that as a one-time courtesy for those who are upgrading from a $30 to a $60 plan. But after that, I won't do it back and forth. But I will do it one time, just to, just so that you don't lose that that momentum that you had going when you initially registered. Okay, and you'll stay on track with that. All right, and as a matter of fact, make sure that you message Erica Kane in the Innate Creatives group for that. And normally she'll get a list of things ready for me, and we'll go ahead and execute those together. And as a matter of fact, Erica's here tonight. She's her title is dubbed a New Blinger Slinging with E&J. That's Erica there. So if you inbox Erica, you'll probably get a faster response. I need to stop telling people to inbox me because my inbox is so full right now. It's crazy. But yeah, so I wanted to show you all that. And then also, I think you all have been asking me about these cartoons. So I do have a section on here where you can add, there's a monthly fee to have the cartoon access, and those who have the monthly fee for the cartoon access is $20 a month, but you get to recommend what cartoons you want to see made, and I'm doing 20 to 30 cartoons every single month. I'm adding them. So if y'all have little cute sayings that you want to do, it doesn't have to be a celebrity. It could be like a meme type of thing that you want to do. Like I did one with the crying lady and the cat. I need to post that one. I haven't even posted it, but I did one with the crying lady and the cat, and the crying lady was pointing and the cat's just sitting there with the salad plate. Different things like that. So pop culture, things that other people really like. This one has Billie Eilish, Beyonce, the Golden Girls, all of those different things that are in there. It has a little hand doing the period, the little period hand motion, and Meg the Stallion, just some different things. So what y'all want to see pop art wise, just let me know, and that will be a part of what I add to the arsenal. And the only way that you can get this is to be a part of the Innate Academy. So I'm not selling these on Etsy. I'm not selling these on the Innate Lab website. This is kind of like my bonus to, my tried and true Academy members who won't take it over the top and try to sell my PNGs on Etsy, which is what has previously happened. So just know you can use them on your end use all you want on t-shirts, or if you're making mugs and tumblers and anything else, but do not sell PNGs. I don't care if it's an art file that you made incorporating one of my cartoons. Don't sell that as a PNG. Don't sell the artwork at all if it incorporates any of my templates or my cartoons. So as long as you're using it on end use products, I want you to make as much money as you can on it. Okay. So the cartoons are active. I know y'all are asking me about that. I'm sorry, I'm trying to answer all of these questions on this tutorial video. Let's see, was there anything else y'all needed? The class, y'all have been asking me about this class. It will be posted by tomorrow, but the class for doing the programs is going to be Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll get together and we'll work on designing that program. All right, so just showing you what to unlock 7 days after your membership. You'll unlock the socks tutorial. And with this tutorial, it's a mock-up template too, and it shows you how to make your own pattern socks. And it's a really cool feature in Photoshop to make your own from scratch patterns, okay? And then 106, we did this master template. Now this master template works wonders whether you're doing, I do it for my on-demand pop-up events. I bring 2 printers, I bring my laptop, and I bring 3 substrates: socks, license plates, and t-shirts. That's all I bring for most of my events. And I'm able to use this template over and over and over again for those templates. I mean, for the license plates and for the t-shirts. And it looks so versatile every single time I do it that I literally have like 10 shirts hanging behind me at my event, and people don't even know that it's the same template for all 10 of those shirts. They're like, oh, I want that one, or I want that one. And it's literally the same thing, okay? So just letting you know that there is that very simple template right there can easily make you money on anybody that walks into your shop or steps into your inbox and asks you to make something. So you don't have to be afraid of Photoshop. All right. Yeah. So it's $20 a month for the cartoons, and then I want you all to tell me, like, some people said they suggested the Martin characters. I saw some other cool ones that I'm going to add to my list, and I do have some kind of in the chamber as well. I'm going to start releasing. So especially if it's something like really timely, like a pop art type of thing that you want to see, let me know, because I'm not always in on the memes and stuff. I'm kind of late on that stuff. Oh yeah, Latrice. Great, 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 great. So we're gonna make the 13 by 19 of this all over template. And I like to do this now on video just to show you how you could do it for yourself. If you already purchased the all over design, there's really no point in purchasing the all over design and the 13 by 19 design, because I'm gonna show you this step, okay? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just truncate my groups. That way I know everything is clean and neat. I'm going to turn off my guide layer now, and I'm going to activate this layer mask. So every new, because I haven't done it in the past, but for my newer templates, I have a layer mask on every single all over design. And if you look at this layer mask, I took my time making it. I know you probably can't tell, but they're actually little feathers. So I used feathers and created this nice little mask area for you all. Took a little time for you. Oh yes, living single. I definitely needed to do that one. And I have my living single font. So yes, ma'am, Tanya, make sure you put that in the suggestions. We'll make a post. We'll make a post in the Innate Creatives group for suggestions. And I really pay attention to the names of the suggestions for people who are already subscribers. So that's what I'm saying. Y'all are going to have priority when it comes to, hey, Shannon, can you make this? Can you do this? Can you show us an example of that? My members, my Academy members, are going to be the source that I kind of subscribe to more than the non-Academy members, just because y'all have that consistent support for me. Okay. All right. So back to this little mask here. All right. So what the mask does is, and right now it's independent, so I can do Control T. And I can kind of move it around. I want you to see that it has these little feathers. Y'all see my feathers? Y'all see them? All right, so I'm going to go back. But the idea of having this mask is so that if you're going to do sublimation, I despise the hard lines. I despise seeing rectangles on shirts. It just does something to my spirit when I know your sublimation, and I know you don't have to have it look like it was an iron-on transfer. Okay, that's just my personal way that I feel. That's probably the strongest you're ever gonna see my emotions on this channel. Okay, so what I want you to do is kind of get used to seeing that. So when you see this, initially it's going to be disabled. You see that red X over it. In order to activate it, you just click on the X. In order to deactivate it, you right click and disable it. It's just a layer mask. It doesn't delete any pixels, okay? So I'm going to activate it right now because this is going to tell me where my print is going to cut off, okay? Because my next step is I want to crop this down to a 13 by 19 orientation. Yes, Rosina, this mask layer is on the Affinity. And as a matter of fact, Rosina, once I'm done doing this for Photoshop, if you stick around and you ask me to make this for Affinity, I will go ahead and make it for Affinity. Because what I've been doing lately, I have not been making all my templates for Affinity because I have a lot less people asking for it. So I will do it live with you and show you how I convert a Photoshop file to an Affinity file. Okay, so what I'm doing right now, I'm just making sure that everything stays within my white space. I don't want to cut anything off, and I don't want to cut anything close. But as you can see, my entire image is in here. It looks good. It looks clean. I'm not getting too dire, dangerously close to the edge of my image there. So I'm going to hit enter. Okay, and it took it down to a 13 by 19 orientation. Oh, you know what I should have done before I did that? I'm sorry. I was supposed to save. I was supposed to save. So let me Control S. I'm supposed to save, and then I'm supposed to save as, because when you're getting ready to do your 13 by 19, you do not want to override your all over design. That's the last thing you want to do. So I'm going to save what I'm currently working on, and then save as, and I'm going to save this one as 13 by 19, 13x19. Okay. So that's your first step, save as. I got ahead of myself talking about affinity, and I'm not even doing my Photoshop right. All right, so let's give it a moment to do that. Now, if you don't have 13 by 19 already placed up top in your ratio, which you probably won't, I want you to type it in. So you'll type in 13 and 19, and you see how it changed the orientation when I changed those numbers? And then we'll just adjust accordingly. All right, and that's it. Now I hit enter. The other thing is you want to make sure that delete crop pixels is off. You don't want that to be on, just in case you need any of your extraneous kind of background or anything that's behind there. All right, so I'm going to hit enter one more time to lock that in. And it's giving me my progress bar at the top. All right, so we're not quite at a 13 by 19, but before I change anything, I'm going to delete the guides for the all over shirt because we don't need them. And in order to delete them, I have to unlock them. There we go. And now I'm going to go to image size, and I'm going to see that, whoa, it's not quite 13 by 19, right? So I have to tell it that it's going to be 13 inches wide, and it will make it 19 inches tall. It's a little, like a smidge above 19, which shouldn't matter because we have enough white space. But just because I'm always more careful, I'll put 19 here so that I end up with just under 13 up top. All right, and you see that 15.9 megs is a lot smaller than 40 megs, which initially it was 40 megs when it was the all over size. Actually, it was 61 to 71 megs all over. Then when we cropped it, it went down to about 59. And then when we changed it to 13 by 19, it goes down to 15, pretty much 16 megs. There's a big difference between 16 megs and 6D, 7D megs. So if you can, if you're only doing 13 by 19 designs, it might be more beneficial for you to just only buy the 13 by 19 templates, because you won't have those big old files on your system or taking up your external drive. All right, so that's it. It's 13 by 19 now. I can go back. I'm going to double check my image size. It is 13 by 19, 150 DPI, 16 megs. And that's it. We're going to hit Control S to save it. Misha, the new templates, I'm going to have at least the 2 that we did tonight uploaded by tomorrow before the sale. So before the sale ends, because the sale is on right now. So my suggestion would be, if you're going to get any other templates, go ahead and get the other templates. So then that way tomorrow, if everybody's waiting on these 2 to drop, it won't be everybody trying to check out at once. So then that way you'll be able to see what I have. And I might surprise you because I may be able to have more than just these 2 up tomorrow. We'll see how much I can actually push through and get uploaded. Because the fun part is designing this stuff. The super fun part is showing you all and, you know, teaching you and getting your feedback. The not so fun part is posting this stuff on the website and doing the web design and the loading of the products and that sort of stuff. So I tend to focus on the fun stuff, and then the not so fun stuff I get hung up on sometimes. So hopefully tomorrow I will have, I know for sure I'll have 2 of these uploaded, but I think I have a total of like 8 to 10 new designs now. And if I can get them all up, then I will. But I have to record a video before I post them up, because I need people to know how to edit each of those templates. So it's been real. This is like been really fun. I like that you all are encouraging to do some different stuff, and y'all are liking the new stuff. Thank you so much. I appreciate all your support. And I'm just trying to see here if y'all have any other questions. Any other questions? Okay, so Vicky wants to stay for the affinity conversion too. Now I'm going to tell y'all something. and I'm going to be so completely real with this. I have affinity, and the reason why I have affinity is because I really have it for you all, so that I can convert files, I can show you how to do things. But I want to give you my real professional opinion of, without so much. And I understand the budget concerns too, because affinity, pay for it $50 one time, boom, you got it for life. But what I noticed is I started printing from affinity. Even with the so-called color controls that they have, you cannot control sublimation colors well through affinity. And I know pretty much the ropes when it comes to programs, and I had the toughest time trying to color match through affinity. So even if, and this is just my suggestion, and this is not just because I teach mostly Photoshop, but if you had Photoshop just to do your color management, $10 a month, it would be worth it to me. Because one thing I hate is printing out something, pressing it onto something else, and like, oh wow, that's not the color it was supposed to be. And I ran into that a lot with affinity. I'm just being completely 100% honest. But I do understand that all of these costs add up. I understand that we're in a time right now where, it's not very predictable what that regular income is going to be. So I'm not knocking affinity at all. I have it. I use it. I teach the kids to use it. They use it frequently when they're doing their designs because it can go on the iPad. I completely understand. But I'm going to let you know that the Photoshop is better in the long run. Number one, because I won't have to convert the files every time. You won't have to wait on them. But secondly, the and you'll start to see some of the effects are a lot more robust in Photoshop. So I'm gonna bring this one on. This one will probably be an easy one to convert, but you'll see if at the end of my videos, if y'all ask me to convert it to Affinity, I will, because I know I'll probably sell it as an Affinity file, and I don't mind doing that. But I'll show you some of the limitations. So we'll just go ahead and bring it over. Okay, so yeah, Tawana says that she doesn't print from Affinity. I didn't get it because it has all the same settings. It has the same ICC profiles for the printers, and it says relative colorimetric and everything the same way that I'll show you. If I go to print right now on my Photoshop, it gives me all the same settings, and I was just really shocked to see when I printed with those same settings that it did not. Oh Lord, y'all see my Photoshop shut down? And I have a pretty intense computer, so Photoshop just did what it wanted to do right now. Probably because I was about to show out on these colors. But let me open Affinity Photo, and I'm going to close out some of these windows too, just to make sure that I'm giving all my resources to these design programs, because these design programs are little monsters, just so you know. They're little ungrateful monsters, little stingy monsters too. They like all of the attention. You open up Facebook if you want to, and it will crash for you in a second. It says there's a new version of Affinity Photo available. If that new version can get my colors right, then that might be all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the file in Affinity, and then I'll see initially what changes, and we'll see if we can together if we can make that work. Yes, Stephanie. Erica's right. For the cartoons is a totally separate purchase because I don't want to make it required or anything. So it's $20 a month, and that's separate from your membership. Your membership is so that you have the templates, so that you have the courses and that sort of thing. The cartoons is just a added bonus because people were asking for the cartoons, and y'all know how I feel about putting artwork like that out there, especially given this Etsy ruthless kind of world. So I decided that only my members will be able to purchase my cartoons. And it's really your person for $20 for that month, and you'll get everything that comes out that month. And Jeffrey asked, what's the sale? So the sale is that all templates, instead of $20, Photoshop templates are $9.99 and the Affinity templates are $15.99. Okay, so let me go ahead. I think Affinity is finally loaded. Let me go to File, Open. Now let's do the double exposure one. And then I kind of have to change it for the 13x19. Y'all hear me breathing hard. So this is what I pulled up in Affinity. Let me see if I can fix it. Okay. Let me see. So this one, and it took my gradients and it applied the layer mask to it, which is, I don't want that. So I have to redo my gradients. Image here. Oh, the image isn't a smart object either. Yes. So, how am I going to do that? It doesn't translate well into Affinity, so I will have to troubleshoot. Let me go ahead, delete these gradients here. My photo here. And then I need to go ahead and do this for the all over version because I'm going to have to redo this for the all over. So no, I won't save that. Let's open. Tanya, that's a great question. The cartoons are not dripped. The cartoons are pretty much as you ask me to do them, as I'm adding more, or I might just be working on a project and I do cartoons and I'll put them in the folder. So basically, if you want the fresh content, you'll stay, kind of frequent, but it will be basically a collection. And as I drop things into that collection, you'll see it shouldn't even notify you when I drop new files in there. But every single month, there will guaranteed be at least 20 new cartoons. Okay, and I say at least because the 20 are going to come from y'all's suggestions, your top suggestions, and then I'll probably end up having my own kind of projects that I'm working on, and I'll include at minimum like 5 to 10 of my projects in there. All right. So let's see what this thing is looking like in Affinity. And y'all see why I just really, I slack a little bit on Affinity. I do. All right, so these images are not smart objects, and it lost my birds. So let me see if it's possible for me to open up Photoshop, because I would have to open up Photoshop and Affinity at the same time. And then this is also why you see I charge more for Affinity templates. So Affinity templates, I charge $5 more per template, and that kind of adds up too. So if you purchase at least 2 templates a month, then those $10 you might as well just put on Photoshop and buy the Photoshop templates. That's just my honest opinion, because this is the kind of thing that that kind of delays me from doing it if I have to do the same work over again. I'm not a repetitious person, but I will do it. I will do it for you all. So let's see. Let me open. We'll do the full size one. And I think Affinity does not do smart objects, but I want to say I should be able to create this effect as a folder within a folder and kind of get the same effect. So let's go to our smart object. And what we're going to do is We'll save this file as, can I bring it in as each layer? I might have to actually export each of these layers and rebuild the template. Let us see. So I just saved it as a PSB. I'm gonna see, and even, oh goodness, it cropped my my image here, my background image. But I can always bring that back in. But this is just Affinity. Well, now when Affinity works, I give it its props because Affinity does do some of the heavy lifting that Photoshop does. But when it doesn't, you can tell my disappointment. Okay, so I'm going to bring this in the photo group layer, pull it over, and see if it brought it in as a pixel layer. Yeah. I thought it was going to allow me to, it says the embedded document. Okay. All right, so it did do an embedded document. So that's what I was saying. It has a way, it's not a smart object per se, but it is a way it's editable. So here it is. I'm going to see if I can change it back to Aaliyah. So, and see if my color overlay, if I can go back to my color overlay, change it back to black. And opacity, I think was down somewhere around there. Let's see if I can get it back. But now you see my troubles. All right, so I got that back. Now the funny thing is my preview is still showing the old image, but that's fine. So I'm gonna put here double click photo, double click, change photo. Okay, so y'all will know to double click to change that photo. All right, so next I have to do a change here. I'm gonna do lighten. There we go. And I'm going to, so, oh, it wasn't lighten, it was soft light. Let me do soft light. Yes, you have soft light in Affinity. Soft light, and then the first one is at about 71% opacity. The second one is 49, which really the 49 was the one on top. So I'm just gonna remember those numbers, 49 and, oh, I should be able to save these masks. Or at least the mask for Aaliyah. We'll just delete it. We don't need them. Had too much going on here. Okay. So it's crazy because I still see this face here. Where is that? Where is that? Oh, I hope it didn't burn it into my background image. Turn it off. Well, where is that image? Oh, here. Boy, I tell you. Okay, so all we need to do, we don't need those gradients. You see how when we did a layer mask and we erased some of the mask in order to let the face color show through, it merged that. So I don't need that. I'm not going to be able to use it. I can take this one and drag it into her photo. And now we can delete that group. I'll copy this layer effect here. And the way that you copy layer effects in Affinity is different from Photoshop. I have to click on something that has an effect, come over here and do add style from selection. And then if I scroll down, it should have added that style, but it doesn't always work out perfectly. And I'll show you in a bit. So we'll delete that whole layer. Now we'll bring back Leah, and then I'm going to paste that layer style. Okay. And the blend mode is soft light. It's changed the opacity, but I still think the blend mode is a little off. All right, so that's my inner shadow. Let's see, so I'm gonna double click on this layer, change it to lighter color. Soft light. Okay, so I'm changing it to soft light, and then I'm going to duplicate this layer. Now my problem is I don't know, and I guess we're about to find out, if I duplicate this layer and I change one of these images, so I don't need that there. So I'm going to change one of these out and see if it changes both of them. And the other thing about smart objects is that when you bring a file into Affinity, it stretches your smart objects out. And I'm not sure why it does that, but I'm gonna kind of, because she was not that stretched out before, so I just want to keep that in mind. And let's see if it changed both of them. It did. So it is something like a smart object. Okay, so I'm going to select those two. Hopefully I can control click, and I'm going to move these two together so they stick together. I'm going to kind of move it to where we had it before. Remember, we wanted the waterfall to be not on the eyes there so we can see the face. And then I'm going to turn off this layer mask. There our shirt is, and let's see if we get our guides. Our guides are there. I hope y'all are enjoying this, even the non-affinity people. Let's see, but I will tell you this: the folks that are using Affinity, y'all are doing your thing. I've been seeing the Affinity template sales kind of start inching in. So I'm not gonna knock it. I'm just gonna tell you what I would do if I was learning and I was new. I would kind of go with Photoshop if the tools were there and the people were there to teach me on the Photoshop side. The only reason why I know Affinity is because I know Photoshop. So once I know Affinity, I haven't done any tutorials, or I barely access the help files, and I'm able to navigate Affinity just because I know Photoshop. So again, my little spiel there. All right, so we have the photo. What else did we do? We had different gradients to go over it. So I'm going to take these two gradients here, and I think I can duplicate them. I don't think I can. Let me see if I can alt click and drag like I do in Photoshop. Nope, I think it's just going to move it. I'm pretty sure it's just going to move it. All right, so what I'm going to do is duplicate it and then move those duplicates. So duplicate, and then I can take those two. And I will apply it over the image that's for the photo. And let's say we had the orange image there. And as you can see, when I turn this orange on and off, the orange is still over her face. So we are going to have to do a layer mask there. Grab our paintbrush, same stuff. Now let's see if I can control. I thought I could change the size, but I can't. Let's see, so I'm just painting here. I'm painting on her face with the black so that it removes this color mask off of her face there. And All right, so on soft light there. The photo here is on normal, but this photo looks like it did something weird, doesn't it? Yeah, it looks like it resized my photo when I brought it in. Let's go ahead and delete that one. Because I can duplicate the background photo. Let's duplicate it. And then we'll bring that one into the photo underneath the gradient here. All right, so then the gradient should now affect just the photo. There we go. All right, so I'm slowly building it up. The text is still editable as text. So I have, it definitely changed something about it though. So let me check these effects here. And it looks like, what is it, the inner glow? Let me turn that off for a second. I don't like what it did with my text to the inside of my text. It kind of thinned it out quite a bit. And I think the reason why is because of this outline. So I'm gonna, yeah, so I took the outline to the outside instead of the center here. And then the inner glow still looks good. So I think that fixes that. Let's go to close that out. Same thing with the Aaliyah there. I'm just going to go ahead and change the outline to outside instead of center. That looks better. All right, all right, all right. So it's not kind of glowing as much as it was. So if we wanted to change any of that, we could go to the effects, this outer glow, and maybe increase the intensity or the radius, something to make it kind of push out a little bit more. There we go. And now it kind of looks a little more like the Photoshop version. Let's save, but I don't want to save this as my PSD. I should have done this the whole time. I should have saved it as an Affinity photo. And it looks like I need to do a little more work because with the double exposure here, it's not coming through quite as clean an image. So let me see what I can do to fix that. And as a matter of fact, I thought I had 2 photos. I do. Okay, so this photo, let's do, it's on 100% opacity and soft light. I'm trying to see another blend mode that might give me that same effect I have with Photoshop. We used soft light before, and at 100% opacity is still not really giving me the effect that I want. Alright, so I was just changing that inner shadow there. Let's see, what else can I do to get this to have a little more pop? that is darker color, lighten. I guess essentially if I wanted to look a little bit darker, I can't just duplicate this layer. So you see, the more that I duplicate the layer, the more it comes through. But I'm just a little shocked that it doesn't give me that same look that Photoshop does. I mean, it's doing a double exposure, but it's not doing the same thing. All right, so I think I'm okay with that. If I have to put two of them here to give the same kind of intensity that we get from Photoshop, then I'm fine with that. And I'm gonna go ahead and do my color overlay to the birds now. Let's do our FX, color overlay. And I'm gonna make them almost purely black so we still see a little bit of the shadow. And then that way we get that. All right, so it wasn't so bad. It wasn't terrible to do it as an Affinity file. Let me go ahead and turn on the layer mask, see if that works. There we go. So I'm going to make sure that I hit save on the all over version, and then I will save as, let it finish saving, I guess. Let's do a save as, the 13:19 version. And I will have that available for you, Affinity loves. All right, so I know I have some Affinity folks that ask for this template, so I'm just gonna go ahead and make it now. And at least I can show you. I don't like to just tell y'all, like my daddy used to say, I can show you better than I can tell you. And the reason why I even put that little extra fee on the Affinity files is because at first I would make a file for Photoshop, then I would turn around and make it immediately for Affinity. And it was just taking so much time, and y'all know, how I can get easily distracted. So I decided to just only do Affinity files on demand. So when somebody purchased it, they had to let me know, hey, I purchased an Affinity file. So basically they would get the Photoshop link immediately so they could try to do this. And sometimes, I will say this, there's some templates you pull them into Affinity and it works flawless just like it will in Photoshop, but it's very few and far between. So I'm glad you see, Vicky, and I don't want to tell anyone what to do, but I will say this, that there are a lot of programs. There's a reason why you bought Affinity, right? Because GIMP is a free program, but there are limitations. There's a limited amount of information out there to access for people to tell you how to design in GIMP, and it's just not a lot of resources out there to help you better your design skills. So if you have that bridge to where you can get on the Photoshop boat, even if it's just to learn initially, and then your design skills and your problem solving skills are strong enough in Photoshop, then you can definitely navigate Affinity. And I think I've kind of converted quite a few people to Photoshop that way. And not just because I prefer Photoshop, but because it's easier for me to teach a group of people who are all on the same program. And here's the thing, Vicky, I don't know if you have more than one computer, but the Photoshop subscription is $10 a month. So if you go on the Innate Creatives Facebook group, you'll see you'll see like a little tag for the word buddy, or you type in the word buddy and search the group. We have this buddy listing where anybody that has a seat or needs a seat can say have or need. And if you see two people that need, then y'all both go in on the Photoshop subscription. So one person purchases it. Make sure you use an email and a password that you don't use for anything else, because y'all have to share that email and password, right? And then the other person sends you $5 a month for their subscription. And basically for $5 a month, you have Photoshop. So that's kind of my solution. $5 a month, at the max $10 a month, and you're able to manage your colors better. You're able to, really get down and dirty on these templates and the tools that you can use. And we don't have to kind of guess, well, can you do that in Affinity? And, I do it a lot. And sometimes I surprise myself that I find out that I can do it in Affinity, but it's just not my main focus. But I will have this one available as Affinity because we just did it. So I'll do the same steps to break it down to 13 by 19 for those Affinity users that are watching and want to purchase this in Affinity. So I'm going to turn on that layer mask, and now I'm going to do File Save As. I already saved it as the 13 by 19. Okay, so I have my mask on. Let's see, I'm going to do a crop here. And I'm going to tell it, it's in pixels right now. I'm going to tell it I want to look at inches. And I'm going to do 13 by 19. It is going to actually do 13 by 19. And I'm going to have to stretch it out. And see, what I don't like about this is it didn't give me 13 by 19 per se. So let me do a conversion in my head real quick. What was it? 20. 13 goes into 19. And then we'll multiply that by, 19 and 13. What am I doing? 20. Lord, I'm trying to do some math here. I haven't done math in quite some time. So 20 over 13. And then I'm going to multiply that by 19. So 29 should be 20 by 29. That gives me approximately a 13 by 19 size. And you'll see what I'm doing in just a second. I'm trying to keep the proportions of a 13 by 19 because it doesn't do the same. Oh, no, if I hold down shift, it still doesn't do it. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to crop it to wherever I crop it to, and then I'll change the file size to 13 by 19. So let's go ahead and apply that, hit enter. I'm going to turn off the lock for these guide layers because we do not need them now. All right, it looks like everything is good. Then I'll do File, Save As. Oh no, we already have it saved as, so it's going to be 13 by 19. And then I need to check on my image size. So let's see, how do I change the image size here? Probably document, document size, resize document. And instead of pixels, I want to see inches. So I'm going to do 13. And it brings it right under 19. So my little simple math worked a little bit. And let's go ahead and resize it. So now it's 13 by 19. And I hit save, and I have an Affinity version of this now, 13 by 19, and I have an Affinity version that is all over. Woo! So I guess that'll count as my Affinity tutorial for this template too. Thank you, Vicky. I appreciate it. Yeah, anything that I know, I will teach. And as a matter of fact, that's one thing that my daddy taught me growing up. He basically instilled in me that anything that you learned, whether it be in school or you watching videos, we didn't have YouTube back in the day, but my daddy swore up and down I can learn anything from the internet. Um, but that was, basically what he would say. If you learn something, learn it well enough to teach it. And I kind of took that to heart, and anything that I learned, I researched the mess out of before I even talk about it. So if there's anything that I can do That's what those one-on-one sessions are for. People are like, well, what can we do a one-on-one session for? Anything that I know. If you want to pick my brain, if you want to learn Photoshop, if you want to set up an LLC, whatever it is that I know how to do, I will use my experience and my time to help you build. So that's what I'm here for. And we're going to start doing some other stuff outside of designing. We're going to work on business building and, some tools for that as well. Building business credit. I also know how to do that. So anything that I know how to do, I'm going to definitely apply to what it is that you want to learn. Awesome, awesome, Vicky. So if you just joined the academy, that means you have 4 templates to play with, 4 classes that you can do over the weekend. You can binge do your classes if you want to, and I definitely look forward to what you get out of it, especially being an Affinity user. I would love to know what you think about Photoshop and what you think of the templates and the classes. All right, love. So how late is it? It's 11:11. Ooh, that's a magical number. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and close on that note. I appreciate you all. I love y'all for real, for real. And I'll be checking in with y'all tomorrow. We'll be doing videos probably back to back tomorrow on the templates, and hopefully I'll have some time in between those videos to post those templates before the sale ends. Okay. So I thank you all. I appreciate you all, and I will catch you mañana. All right, guys. Bye.